A shocking betrayal exposed in a story that has shaken the small, tight-knit town of Oakwood, Illinois. A scandal has emerged that has left the local community and legal circles in complete turmoil. The lawyer at the center of the storm is a seasoned divorce attorney, Monica Vance, a woman who had built her career on helping individuals untangle the mess of broken marriages. Little did her clients know, the same person who claimed to be their ally in their darkest hour might just be plotting her own personal gain. But the true horror of Monica's betrayal would not reveal itself until March 2024, and it came with an emotional shockwave that no one could have foreseen. It all began in September 2022, when Hannah Doyle, a successful businesswoman in her early 30s, found herself at a crossroads. Her marriage of 8 years to Jake Doyle, a local businessman, had crumbled under the weight of infidelity and emotional neglect. Hannah, devastated and brokenhearted, sought help from Monica Vance, who had a reputation for getting her clients what they wanted, no matter the cost. At first, it seemed like a typical divorce case. Monica would represent Hannah, file for the dissolution of the marriage, and help her walk away with a fair settlement. But as the months passed, things began to shift in ways Hannah never anticipated. Why did it feel like Monica was pushing harder for the divorce than anyone expected? Why was she so determined to secure a clean break for Hannah, urging her to sign papers without allowing any room for reconciliation? At the time, Hannah couldn't understand. Monica had been sympathetic, supportive, and attentive, listening to her every tearful word. Was she simply an empathetic professional, or was there something more?
If you're enjoying this story, kindly do us a favor and subscribe to our channel. It is free and won't cost anything, but it means the world to us. We're just a small channel trying to grow. Thank you, and back to the video.
But by March 2023, after a grueling and painful trial, Hannah's marriage was officially dissolved. The terms were harsh. Hannah was left with less than she expected, but at least she was free from the man who had betrayed her trust. Or so she thought. Little did she know, the lawyer who had fought for her would soon make an unexpected move that would devastate her world. June 2024, the bombshell dropped. It began with a Facebook post, a seemingly innocent update from Jake Doyle, her ex-husband, announcing his new marriage. But the details in the post were what made Hannah's heart stop cold. Monica Vance, her lawyer, the very person who had helped her finalize her divorce, was standing next to Jake in the photo, a dazzling engagement ring on her finger. Jake and Monica had gotten married. Hannah's stomach churned with disbelief. How could this be? How could the woman she trusted, the one who was supposed to be her advocate, marry the very man she had fought so hard to separate her from? The questions came flooding in, each more painful than the last. Was this planned all along? Had Monica used her position as a lawyer to manipulate the situation? Did Monica's intentions really lie in helping Hannah? Or was she simply playing a long game to take what she wanted? The betrayal, the devastation hit Hannah hard. Her lawyer, the person she confided in during the darkest time of her life, had turned into her greatest enemy. How could someone so trusted do this? Hannah couldn't sit idly by. She was determined to expose what had happened, no matter the cost. In July 2024, just a few weeks after the shocking revelation, Hannah filed a lawsuit against Monica Vance. It wasn't just for the emotional toll it had taken on her, though that was immense. It was for breach of trust and conflict of interest. How could a divorce lawyer marry the ex-husband of her client, someone she had just legally helped to sever ties from their marriage? Was there not a deeper level of manipulation, one that might have influenced the outcome of the divorce? The courtroom drama that followed was like something out of a legal thriller. The case went public, and soon the entire town of Oakwood was buzzing with rumors and shock. Monica Vance, known for her cool composure and sharp legal acumen, seemed shaken for the first time in her career. The public was divided. Some defended her, claiming that her relationship with Jake only began after the divorce was finalized, while others speculated that the seeds of this romance were sown much earlier. But as Hannah's legal team dug deeper, unsettling details began to surface. Courtroom testimony revealed that Monica had met with Jake privately, without Hannah's knowledge, on several occasions during the divorce proceedings. Was it innocent, or was it the beginning of something far more sinister? As the case progressed, Hannah's emotional state became increasingly fragile. Every day in the courtroom, as Monica maintained her poise and confidence, it felt like the walls were closing in on Hannah. Would anyone believe her? Would anyone care that she had been betrayed by someone she had trusted with her deepest vulnerabilities? The hidden motive and the dramatic twist. The long and painful journey toward justice for Hannah Doyle had seemed like an endless battle, but the real shock came when a letter surfaced in October 2024. A letter that had been hidden for months, buried in the private files of Monica Vance's law office. At first glance, it looked like an innocuous document, perhaps a routine client communication or a mundane legal memo. But as soon as the letter was opened and read, it became clear that it was anything but ordinary. The letter, penned in Monica Vance's unmistakable handwriting, was addressed to an unknown recipient. However, its contents would expose a betrayal so deep that even the most cynical legal minds were stunned. The letter detailed an intimate, covert relationship between Monica and Jake Doyle, the very same man she had helped to divorce his wife, Hannah. What was the letter? It wasn't just a confession. It was a roadmap of Monica's manipulation. The details inside were damning. According to the letter, Monica had been involved with Jake for months before the divorce was even finalized. The affair had begun during the trial, well before the ink had even dried on the official divorce papers, a fact that had remained hidden from everyone, especially Hannah. But it was far worse than just a secret affair. Monica had actively manipulated the divorce proceedings to secure the outcome she wanted, an outcome that would ensure Jake was freed from his marriage and ready to begin a new life with her. The letter outlined how Monica had subtly influenced Hannah's decisions, pushed for a quick settlement, and ensured that Jake would not face the emotional or financial consequences of his actions. She had, in essence, positioned herself not just as a lawyer fighting for her client, but as someone who had already begun to orchestrate the next chapter of her personal life, with Jake, the man she was now marrying. Why didn't Monica ever disclose her growing relationship with Jake? Was she afraid of losing her high-profile case? Or was she afraid of the powerful emotions that would have been unleashed if Hannah had discovered the truth? As the details of the letter emerged, these questions loomed large in the case. Monica had always insisted that she was just doing her job, that her personal life had nothing to do with the divorce proceedings. But now, it was clear that this was the ultimate betrayal of her client's trust. Hannah's world was shattered again. It wasn't enough that her marriage had ended, but to learn that her own lawyer, the person who was supposed to be advocating for her, guiding her through one of the hardest moments of her life, had been working in secret to destroy the very foundation of her marriage for her own gain. The thought was almost too much to bear. The public revelation of the letter caused a firestorm. Hannah's legal team wasted no time in bringing the evidence to light, ensuring that it would be part of the lawsuit. Monica Vance, known for her polished image and impeccable reputation in the legal community, was now forced to stand before the court not just as a defendant in a malpractice case, but as a person who had violated every ethical boundary that a lawyer could cross. As the trial progressed, more and more details of Monica's behavior emerged. Emails, text messages, and even phone records were pulled into evidence. In these communications, Monica was seen telling Jake that he didn't need to worry about his ex-wife's demands during the divorce. "We'll get it all settled quickly," she had assured him in one text. "She'll sign. I'll make sure of it." Another message made it clear that Monica was not just working to end the marriage, but had already begun plans for what would come next. Her future with Jake. At times during the proceedings, Monica's defense seemed almost impossible to believe. She insisted that her relationship with Jake had only blossomed after the divorce was finalized, and that her work as Hannah's lawyer had been completely impartial. But her repeated failure to address the glaring conflict of interest and her attempt to distance herself from her personal life only deepened the suspicion. Why had she continued to represent Hannah when she knew her growing feelings for Jake could jeopardize the case? Why hadn't she recused herself? Why hadn't she disclosed her relationship with Jake, especially when it could have influenced her legal strategy? The answers remained unclear, wrapped in layers of defense that seemed increasingly weak and improbable. In the final days of the trial, the court ruled in favor of Hannah, finding that Monica Vance had indeed violated several professional ethical standards. The ruling not only took away Monica's career, it completely obliterated her credibility in the legal world. The State Bar Association swiftly moved to revoke her law license, declaring her actions as a serious breach of trust. She was forever barred from practicing law, her once promising career now destroyed. Meanwhile, Jake Doyle also found himself facing the consequences of his actions. While he had initially tried to defend his involvement with Monica, claiming that he was simply moving on after his divorce, the community wasn't so forgiving. His business, once thriving, began to suffer as clients and colleagues distanced themselves from him. Oakwood, a small town where gossip spread quickly, had no mercy. The public, once sympathetic to Jake's unfortunate situation, now turned on him. His reputation was tarnished, and many viewed him as no better than Monica, complicit in the betrayal of Hannah. But for Hannah, the wounds ran deeper than a professional scandal.
If you're enjoying this story, kindly do us a favor and subscribe to our channel. It is free and won't cost anything, but it means the world to us. We're just a small channel trying to grow. Thank you, and back to the video.
She had been manipulated, betrayed, and hurt by the two people she had trusted the most. Her once perfect world had crumbled under the weight of their selfishness. Though she had won her case, the emotional toll was beyond what any court could remedy. The dramatic twist, though, was not just in the legal victory. It was in the realization that Monica, the woman who had helped tear apart Hannah's life, had played a game so dangerous, so manipulative, that it made even the most hardened lawyers recoil in disbelief. Monica had not only betrayed Hannah but had lost everything in the pursuit of her own personal desires. Could there ever be redemption for Monica Vance? Would time heal her tarnished reputation? Or was this scandal something she could never recover from? And more importantly, could anyone ever trust her again, knowing the lengths to which she had gone to manipulate and deceive those closest to her? For Hannah, the question was simpler. Could she ever heal from this betrayal? Could she forgive the woman who had once been her ally but had ultimately turned into her worst enemy? As Monica tried to rebuild her life, away from the legal world that had once been her empire, she would forever carry the weight of her choices. And as for Hannah, the road to recovery was long, but the justice she had sought, and the exposure of Monica's true motives, gave her a sliver of peace, one she would desperately cling to, as she slowly rebuilt her life from the wreckage left behind. The haunting reminder remained. Sometimes, the people you trust the most can hurt you in ways you can never imagine.